Hi guys, today we're doing a tier list again for every single track on the F1 2020 calendar. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first, Abu Dhabi. I don't know why you can't see that, but Abu Dhabi is going in abysmal. I think the only good races that have ever been around there is only because it's the last race of the season. It's been a championship decider. There's never been an exciting race there. That's why it's in abysmal. So next we've got Albert Park, Australia. I'm gonna go for average. I think it's all right. There's better tracks out there. We've had a few good races. Not so much recently, but I know 2010 was a good race. It's had some good races. I think it'll probably be better when the new cars come in, and maybe it'll be better towards the end of this season. Maybe could be big in the championship battle. But there's not a lot of overtakes usually. But then it's usually the first race of the season, and that does help. But I'm gonna put it in average. Now I've got Austria. I'm putting it in good. It's not quite a banger, but I do like Austria. We saw it last year twice. Well, one race is better than the other. Norris getting on the podium, Hamilton and Albon colliding again, and yeah, it's a lot of overtakes. Max Verstappen's very good around there, and yeah, it's good. Not quite top level. There's not been many bangers around there, but it's a very solid track. Next, we have got Bahrain. I'm gonna put that in good. Similar to, I don't think it's quite as good as Austria, but it's similar to Austria in the fact that quite a few overtakes. It was a great race around there in 2014. And obviously, this is just the full circuit, not the short layout. That was great last season, but we're just talking about the usual layout, and that's why it's in good. Okay, next we've got Brazil. I'm putting that straight into banger. I absolutely love Brazil. It should be the last race of the season. It's brilliant. So many good races. 2016, it could rain. It's always unpredictable weather, as we saw in 2016. That was a great race. But in 2019, the last race we had around Brazil was great as well. So, a lot of overtaking, excitement. It's towards the end of the season. It should be the last race of the season, in my opinion. Not Abu Dhabi, which is abysmal, as you can see. But, yeah, I'm just going to put it in banger. Not a lot more needs to be said. Right, Canada. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Put it in good. I'd say it's probably better than Bahrain. Not a lot of overtakes, but when there are overtakes, they're hard. And it's had a lot of good races. 2014, Daniel Ricciardo's first win. 2007, Lewis Hamilton's first win. 2008, Robert Kubica's only win. 2011, Jenson Button winning from the back. So many great races, and I think it definitely deserves to be in good. Could put it in banger, but maybe we'll review it at the end. But I'm going to put it ahead of Austria now. I've just talked myself into it. Right, America, Circuit of the Americas. I'm going to go for. I'm going to put it in good, but not as good as. I'm going to put it in average. Just below Albert Park. I don't think it's quite as good as Albert Park. It's okay. Lewis Hamilton loves it. He's won. I think he's only won all but 2 of the races around there, if I'm correct in saying that. Solid. Never really boring races around there. Obviously, Kimi Räikkönen won in 2018, stopping Lewis Hamilton from winning the championship at that race, although he did win it the next weekend. Yeah, solid. Not really many bangers, but not a lot of top tier races, but it's never a boring race, so that's why it's going in average. Hungary. I don't know why you can't see that either, but it's going in average. I think average for Hungary. I think there aren't a lot of overtakes. Monaco without barriers, as some people call it, but when there is an overtake, you have to work hard for it. I think it was to end of 2017. Valtteri Bottas got overtaken and was crashing into, was colliding with a lot of people towards the end, and that was quite exciting at the end. a good finish. Obviously 2014, it was then Ricciardo's second win, I think I'm right in saying. That was a great race as well, put some good moves. I think running outside of Lewis Hamilton at turn 2. I really like that turn 1 and turn 2, they sort of lead into each other, so you know, if you don't get past in turn 1, then you've got another chance in the long turn 2. But yeah, I quite like that. I quite like Hungary, the Hungaroring, so that's why that's going there. So next we have got Suzuka. Right, it's average. I'm going to put in average. I know a lot of people like it. It's an old school track. But not all of the races are brilliant around there. 2018, especially when Vettel had a few issues around there, that really ended his title challenge. I think it was 2018. Might have been 2017. But apart from that, there's not a lot of great races around there. But again, not a lot of boring races around there. So that's why it's, you know, it's just average. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. Next, we've got Imola. It's hard to judge really, because since I've been watching it, there's only been one race really last year. I think the last race before 2020 around Imola was 2006. Yeah, I wasn't old enough to be watching, or you know, remembering it then. So just from, I think it was an average race last year. I think I've got to put it in average because I've not seen a lot. It looks like a good layout, quite narrow, but there can be some overtakes. Also, it's quite easy to defend around there as well, so you can see a lot of good battles. So that's what I'm going for. Mexico. I think a lot of these are going to go in average, and I put Mexico in average as well, just below Suzuka. Lewis Hamilton's won the championship there a few times, but apart from that, Red Bull seem to be strong around there, and I like that there's not a lot of downforce because of the high altitude. But yeah, not a lot much else needs to say in there. Just an average track. I like the long straight, the very long straight as well. It can lead to engine issues, which can shake up the race a bit if one of the top teams has an engine issue. Next, Monaco, maybe unpopular. I don't know. You can't see that. You can see some, can't see others. But I'm putting it straight into banger. I don't think it's quite as good as Brazil, but I love Monaco, especially that qualifying. It's the best qualifying of the season, and then get a bit of rain maybe. Maybe someone qualifies ahead of where they should be, and even for a great race, it's very hard to overtake, as Daniel Ricciardo showed in 2018 when he held off Vettel, even though he had a damaged engine. But yeah, it's great, so that's why it's going in banger. If anyone disagrees, I can put it in the comments, and I'll have a discussion with you down there. I'll try and reply to all of them. I'll say I'll try to. I don't got any comments. Next, Monza. I'm putting it right at the top. Monza is great. 2019, Leclerc winning. Brilliant race. Last season, obviously, Gasly winning. What a race that was. Every single year, something happens that you don't expect, or there's some kind of incident. Qualifying last 2 years has been absolutely crazy. So, it's been a banger. Anyone that's watched, especially the last 2 years, knows it's a banger, but throughout history, it's a historic track, but it's also great at the moment, and that's why it's in banger. Paul Ricard. Paul Ricard. It's abysmal. Not quite as bad as WWE, I'd say, but it is so boring. It's the most processional Grand Prix there is. Lewis Hamilton won it 2008. Was it 2008 and 2019 by 30 seconds? Just how easy it was for him, and that's the end of it, really. Portimao, I'm going to put it in good. I really liked the race last year. I think it was interesting. There was incidents, obviously. Stroll and Norris had an incident at turn 1. I think. Yeah, they did. And it was a really interesting race. It's a bit like Barcelona, but better. So, well, talking about Barcelona, I may as well do that now. That's going to go in poor. I don't like it. It's boring. They do too much testing around there. Maybe it'll be different this year because we haven't had testing at Barcelona. Hopefully it'll be better this year because we haven't had testing at Barcelona. But well, they've changed the circuit for this year a little bit. Turn 10, the hairpin after the second DRS straight, that's less tight, so that's going to be even harder to overtake through there. So that's probably going to be dropped down to abysmal. But you know, maybe I'll revisit that after the race. Next, Sochi. I'm going to put it in poor. Some of the races have been good. Bottas is great around there. But there's not much overtaken really. It's near the top. And that's not much else needs to be said. There's not a lot of overtaking. So it's boring. It's boring. There's never been a good race around there. But it's just not quite as boring as Paul Ricard or Abu Dhabi. Silverstone is a straight up banger. Better than Monza if I can get it there. I've been there a few times. It's great. Always exciting. Last year there was someone with a puncture. It's so great. It's historic. It's fast flowing. It's the ultimate racing circuit in my opinion. Singapore. Oh, I'll stop. But yeah, Singapore. It's alright. It's a street circuit, quite narrow. Well, they had 2 good races, 2008. We all know what happened there. If you don't, look it up. Might do a video on that in the future. And 2017, where Verstappen, Raikkonen, and Vettel all collided at the start. Hamilton won in only ever wet race, only ever night race. Only ever wet race at Singapore, and only ever wet night race. Sorry. But overall, it's poor. It's really poor. Spa. Unbelievable. I love Spa. Always a great race. So much overtakes. 2 long straights, Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Brilliant set of corners, old school corners. They don't make tracks like that anymore, and that's why it's one of the best. Right. Zandvoort. Obviously, we've never seen anyone race around there. I'm going to put it in average. It's quite narrow, not a lot of space for overtaking. It's historical, like the banking. Could possibly get an overtake done in the turn 1 hairpin. But apart from that, not a lot else. I'll put it in average because we're not seeing it. And I want to put it in poor because we're not seeing it. But I don't think it's going to be good or a banger. So that's where I'm going to put it. Baku. I'm going to put Baku in good. We had 2 great races around there. 2 so-so races around there. But it's great. I love the long straight. It really sets up well for overtakes. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo's win in 2018 was great as well. 2019, Bottas got a puncture on the second. Was it the second to last lap that he got the puncture? It's excitement right to the end, as we saw Bottas pip Stroll to second place in 2017 when Ricciardo won, and then 2018 Ricciardo and Verstappen collided, and that was probably what made him move to Renault, which obviously didn't work out. So lastly, we've got Jeddah. I think that's how you say it. Saudi Arabia. See, I don't like the fact that F1's racing around Saudi Arabia, you know, with all of its human rights issues, etc. And I've only seen that one on board. It's not actually real, but the one on board that's been released so far of this circuit. It looks alright. I'm going to put it just ahead of Zandvoort because those are 2. It looks a bit better, more overtaking opportunities, long straight. 23 corners, I think it's a bit overkill to be honest, but we'll see. And that's all I've got to say about it really. So there was my list. Put it in the comments down below what you put. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to see more of these kind of videos. Probably not more tier lists because I've run out already. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye. I'd like to